Now you want to know about training. Okay, let's look at that a little bit. How do we train? One way is the surviving egg theory. If you take a basket full of raw eggs and throw them against a brick wall, every once in a while one of them doesn't break. A lot of coaches coach that way. Pound the team and hope that some of them live through it. You know, and if you have enough bodies, you're probably going to do okay. Because you don't care if you wipe out 20 people while you save 3. That's okay, as long as those 3 did well. And in this country, we tend to recognize coaches as being good coaches for having a good runner. They might have ruined 20, but if they have one good one, they're a good coach, right? Well, we've seen that year after year after year. That happens all the time. What did my coach do to me? That's another way we coach. I was a swimmer and a shooter competitively in high school and college. I never ran. I hated it. But I got into modern pentathlon, and that involved running, so I had to start running. And the first coach I had in pentathlon, fencing is one of the sports in pentathlon, and horseback riding. And we had an outstanding fencing master who was Hungarian from the Budapest Fencing Academy. And he was great for teaching fencing. He knew nothing about running, but to save money, they let him be the running coach. Here's what I did the first 6 weeks I ever ran for a running coach. And I had never run before in my life. We went to the track. We jogged a mile to warm up. We ran 8 or 10 400s as hard as we could. And we went home. And we did that 5 days a week for 6 weeks. 30 times we did that workout. Now that's stupid. You know, I'm not going to coach like my coach did. That was what my coach did to me. I'm way better off just going out and jogging around a little bit and at least staying healthy. I can remember we had a break for Christmas, and I went out to this golf course and ran around for 3 or 4 miles, and boy, this is kind of fun. The worst part about it, all we ever did were fast 400s. So when a race came, we just went out too fast and died after about a half, and death trotted the rest of the way. Or what do the champions do? Maybe that's what we should do, right? Train like the champions. The current world champion, or the current Olympic champion. We better do what he does, because he's great because of it. Okay, here's a guy. Here's a guy when he was in high school, 1964. Junior in high school, 17 years old. Sunday, 10-mile run in 65 minutes. He ran 5 miles every other morning, the other 6 days of the week. And then in the afternoon on Monday, he ran a 2-mile in 9:55, 2 1-miles in 5:12, 3 800s in 2:28, 6 400s in 65. That was his Monday afternoon workout. Tuesday, he did 6 times 464, 10 140s in 18. That's about a 56 quarter pace. 5 800s in 3 minutes and 5 200s in 31. Then on Wednesday, he did 50 400s in 69, starting one every 3 minutes. Okay? That means that he started them on 3-minute send-off, and 50 of them, that's 150 minutes. So that's a 2.5-hour workout. Came back the next day and ran 18 800s. And then Friday, he ran a mile, a 1,200, 800, 600, 400, and had a race on Saturday. Jim Ryan. World record holder. And I know his coach, Bob Timmons, very well because Timmons was a swimming coach in Kansas, and I was a swimming coach in Oklahoma, and my team was state champs, and his team were Kansas State. So we used to battle each other all the time. So I got to know Timmy way before he even coached Ryan, before he became a running coach. Those are swim workouts. That's what they are. 50 400s. That's like doing 50 100s in the pool. That's okay for a swimmer. He didn't know any better. I mean, what is 18 800s is 245 to 250? That's 5:30 mile pace. He could go out for a 9-mile run at 5:30 pace, just as easy. Why break it down into 18 800s? But that's swimming mentality. I asked Timmy one time. I said, do you have anybody else on your team that did that? He said, yeah, I have 34 of them. And I said, they all did that? He said, no, one guy quit after 40 of those 400. I said, I knew he was never going to be any good. It's a how many of them were besides Ryan? You know, is that what we should do? And he never got hurt doing it. How about this guy? I asked him, he held the high school 5K high school national record for 30 years. Longest single run, I said, Jerry, what's the longest run you ever went on? He said 66 miles. So I did that one several times. He went to school at Washington State in Pullman, and he said he used to run from his dorm over to a forest ranger station in Idaho and back. I said, boy, you must have drank a lot. He said, yeah, if the ranger was there, I got a drink. Most miles he ever ran in 1 week, 380. 6 weeks he averaged 300 miles a week. In 1 year he averaged 240 miles a week for a year.
Still living?
He ran whenever he was awake. He told me there were times, this is Jerry Lindgren, by the way. Some of you may have heard of him. He ran against the Soviet Union in a dual meet the year he graduated from high school in the 10K. It was on a cinder track in the Los Angeles Coliseum. And he had to lead. He always led. And he's out there leading, and you could hear this Soviet guy sitting behind him with his spikes grinding in the track. And so he picked it up, and he's still here, the guy, and he picked it up, and he won the race by half a lap. It was his own spikes he heard. I asked him what his best time for 400 was. He said 54, first lap of a mile. That's the fastest he ever ran a 400. And I saw him about 8 years later, and I said, "Do you ever beat that?" He said, "Yeah, I ran 53 the last lap of a 5K. He didn't know what he could run for 400 meters. And all that running he did, he got hurt once. He got hit by a car and run. That was his one injury. People are different. There were times that he would wake up at 1 in the morning, he had to go to the bathroom. And he'd be in there going to the bathroom, and he'd think, "Oh, I'm awake, I might as well get 10 miles in," and he would. The guy could run. And you figure he was probably running 30 to 40 hours a week to do that.
Wow.
So I guess that's the way we should train, huh? I mean, he was successful. We need some guiding principles for training.